Right, so welcome to another episode of the Diary Piece. So if you recognise this scene behind me, that's because we're back down on Horseshoe Lake near Lechlade. So a lot of you might have already seen the film that we put together here in October last year when myself and Steve had a pretty crazy session. If you haven't seen that one, I'll put a link to that video at the end of this one. But yeah, back down on Horseshoe. I haven't got my partner in crime with me this time. Steve's down on Stoneacres at the moment. So I actually went down to Stoneacres on Sunday just to camp out for the night and do some filming with Steve there. And then I've come down to here first thing Monday morning. So when I arrived, obviously did a good lap of the lake, and the only fish I saw were out in front of Boat Point. Boat Point was taken, and all the swims at either side which sort of fished that zone where I had seen them were also taken as well. So I'm sort of trying to decide what to do really, and then I spoke to a couple of lads on that far side, and they said they'd literally watched the fish go from that very far corner and were gradually moving their way up towards Winter Bay. So I carried my lap round, and as I got round to Winter Point, the lads who were in here were actually packing up. So sort of stood out here for a little bit, trying to decide what to do really. I couldn't actually see anything, but I thought the wind was due to change. From what the lads had said, the fish did seem to be on the way up here, so I decided to drop into here again. Obviously we fished it last time, so I do know the spots. So I thought, it's good as anywhere to start. So that spot that actually did all of my bites last time is completely gone. It's just absolutely choked with weed out there, which it does happen on weedy lakes. The spots change from month on month sometimes. So yeah, that spot was completely gone. Well, very kindly, one of the lads I spoke to actually tipped me off on another spot, not far away from the one that I was fishing last time, to be fair. But managed to find that, put 2 kilo of bait out on it, and had a fish within 10 minutes, an absolutely gorgeous, scaly, probably about 18, 19. So yeah, proves to be the right decision to drop into here. Caught me completely off guard, to be fair. I just wasn't expecting a fish that soon. So I did originally have 2 rods on that spot. It is only a very small spot, but I could just about squeeze 2 rods on it. But that first fish I had actually picked up the other rod on the tape. And with all the weed about, I think it's just going to cause me too many problems trying to fit 2 rods on there. I'm over the back of a big weed bed, so my line lay to the spot isn't going to be brilliant, and I think it's just going to cause me all manner of problems if I've got 2 rods on there. So just left 1 rod on there for now. And then yesterday afternoon I actually had another fish from that spot, a common, round about to the 16, 17. So yeah, it's been a pretty decent session so far. I've also had a couple of tench, so it's been pretty eventful so far. Well, I'm just trying to decide what to do today really. I've seen a lot of fish showing out in that very central bowl of the lake, so way out of range. But if last time's anything to go by, the same sort of things seem to happen. They were showing right out in sort of no man's land, right in the middle, and then as they sort of drift over towards us, Steve was picking them off on that open water spot, the big clear spot in the middle. So yeah, we'll just play it by ear. To say I haven't recast the rods this morning yet, and maybe give them another hour, try and decide what to do. I did lose a fish which I think was a tench off that big clear spot in the middle, but it hasn't done anything since, so I'm debating whether to maybe put a couple of singles out to where I've seen fish showing, because they are sort of slightly off that spot where I've seen them, but I don't know, because as we know from past experience, when they move on to you can very quickly have a few fish. So I'm debating whether to leave both rods on the bait in the hope that they move on to it, or just flick a couple of singles at showing fish. But yeah, we'll just see what happens. I've got 24 hours left, so yeah, I'll just keep you updated, but hopefully we'll be able to nick a couple more. So yeah, I'll just keep you posted. Right, we're just coming into the final evening of the session now. It's been a really frustrating day today, to be fair. The conditions have been absolutely perfect all day. I've had the wind hammering into my face. We had a heavy downpour earlier on. It's just one of those days where you just think it's going to happen any minute, and it just didn't. I think I mentioned earlier, I was debating a move this morning. There was a lot of fish showing at really long range, like right down in the corner, on the back of the wind, and there was a swim become available that fish to where they were showing. So I was debating whether to move or not, but with the wind being so strong, I just had the feeling that they would move further towards me as the day wore on, and that did seem to happen. Like sort of hour by hour, they're getting closer and closer and closer to the point where they were showing at the range that I'm actually fishing. But again, frustratingly, they've been showing sort of 40 yards to the right of my spot, and I didn't really want to go changing my spot and spreading bait about all over the place. It's going to make it harder for myself to get a bite, so I thought I'll just stick to my guns, stick with the spot I'm on, and give them a decent hit of bait. I probably put a good few kilo out earlier. Just with the amount of fish I'd seen, if they did move on to me, they'd clean me out in no time. So I had both rods on that spot today, and I was debating leaving them there tonight, but I just couldn't ignore this other spot. It's done all my bites, barring one, which I think was a tench, the whole time I've been here, so I just couldn't ignore it. So I've got one rod on a big clear area out in the middle, and the other one on this area in between the weed. I've just put that rod out now, and my first cast went a couple of foot to the right of where I wanted it, and it actually landed with a really firm drop, whereas it wasn't before. So I think they've been in today while there's been no lines in the water, and clean that spot off even more, because I say it was literally a tiny little spot, and unless you landed bang in the middle of it, you were in weed and wouldn't get a drop. So yeah, fingers crossed that's a good sign. Anyway, I give that spot another probably 1.5 kilos. Just watching them showing out in the middle again. I say again, they're at the range I'm fishing, just slightly to the right, but hopefully they'll drift over me tonight anyway. So yeah, I'm going to get myself settled, and then hopefully we'll have a carp to show you soon. We're fast approaching Last Chance Saloon, and I think I've just lost one. Really annoying. I've been watching them fizzing up on my left hand spot all morning. I've seen a couple of really subtle shows in the last sort of hour or so, and I'd said to myself, if I haven't had the take by about 9 o'clock, I'll refresh the rod, put a few more spoms out just to try and buy a bite. So I've done that, put the rod back out, put a few spoms out. I actually had a liner as I was spomming, had another couple of liners, and then about 10 minutes later the bobbins just pulled up tight to the top. I lifted into it, felt some weight there, it was in the weed, and then just pulled back. So there was a bit of bird life in the area, so there's possibly, picked up by a bird, I don't know, but all I know is I've been watching them fizzing there all morning, so a little bit annoying. So just put the rod straight back out, got a few more spoms over the top just to try and buy a last minute bite, and I have actually had another liner since, so just keep my fingers crossed I'll be able to nick a last minute fish. Really frustrating night again, really. It's so all those fish that I was seeing showing, they just didn't really seem to come my way. There was the odd one showing at the range that I was fishing, but the vast majority of them were held up, sort of 50-60 yards behind the spot in front of a swim called Sandbags, I believe. So yeah, I was just sitting there watching them showing beyond me. So in hindsight, possibly should have moved yesterday. It's just one of those things, but those fish that I was seeing showing like right across the far corner, they did move this way, so them just didn't move quite far enough. So it's just one of those things, but got about 3 hours left. I'm gonna start packing the bivvy down shortly, and then yeah, just sit it out. I am actually booked on till tomorrow, but it's meant to be about 32 degrees tomorrow, so yeah, I don't really fancy sitting out in that, to be fair. But yeah, let's see what happens in these last few hours, and then fingers crossed I might be able to nick a last minute fish. Right, so I can't quite figure out what's going on at the moment. The exact same thing has just happened again. bobbin just slammed up to the top, held there for a couple of seconds, and then just hit the deck. I've actually just managed to get it on film, so I was getting a few liners again, and thought it'd be great if I could get a take on film, so be able to see for yourselves. But I just lifted into thin air again, and so there has been a grebe that's been absolutely smashing through the swim, so I don't know whether it's possibly the grebe picking me up, because I said the line lays are brilliant in the spot and going over the back of a weed bed and down onto the spot, so it could be that, but yeah, I don't know. But again, there's still been fish fizzing on the spot, so I just don't know what's going on at the minute, but it's doing me head in. But just before I get the bivvy down, I thought I'd just run you through how I've been fishing this session, and if you've seen the last film we did here, I haven't changed anything at all. Worked for me that time, it worked for me at the beginning of this session, it hasn't particularly worked for me this morning, but yeah, I thought I'd run you through how I've been fishing. So first, bait wise, it's literally basically just Pacific tuna, boilie, just crumbed up, put through the crusher. So I've got loads of little different sizes in there, little bits and pieces that'll sit in the gravel. One thing we learned from the last session is when the fish move on you, they can very quickly clear you out, so I want to make sure I've got a load of little bits and pieces in there that are going to sit in the gravel and take them a while to find. And then to that I had some mini ultra mix pellet, again just so there's all little bits and pieces to hold them there as long as possible. Some sweet corn, I haven't gone mad on the sweet corn. I say I've had a few tench this session, so I've sort of eased the sweet corn off, so I don't know whether that's been maybe picking a tench up. And then just some liquids added to that. So I've added some liquid tuna extract and a couple of little natural goodies from the CC Moore range as well in there. So again, baiting wise, exactly the same as last time. Rigs, again, same as last time, just short little Ronnies with a Pacific tuna chop and just tipped with a little bit of yellow corn. So the spots I'm fishing are very clear. So when I'm fishing over little bits and pieces, I prefer a smaller, shorter rig. So yeah, I say it's worked. It has worked for me up until this point. So the way the session started, I thought it was going to be another prolific session. Having that fish literally within 10 minutes of having a rod in the water, and then another one a couple of hours later. I thought it was going to turn into a really crazy session again. It just sort of tailed off, but so I'm not complaining. That first one I had, really lovely scaly one, that was worth the trip on its own, and then followed up with a lovely common afterwards as well. So yeah, I'm not complaining. It's been a good session again. So unless something happens in the meantime, I'm going to get this bivvy down, start slowly packing away, and then yeah, we'll try and get back down soon. Obviously love the lake, so I shall be back again soon to try and outwit some more of these carp. So yeah, if I don't speak to you before, I'll catch up with you next time.